فيكم جميعا. Welcome to this panel about innovations in payment tools. I have the pleasure to host 4 very distinguished panelists. I will start by a small presentation on each one. Our first panelist is Mrs. Randa Bdeir. She is the Assistant General Manager at Banque Audi, heading the e-payment solutions and card services for the group since February 2004. She is also a member of the board of directors of MasterCard Worldwide for SAMEA region since 2000. Our second panelist is Mr. Faris Antoun. He is the head of card services at Banque of Beirut since 2004. Prior to that, Mr. Antoun served as an internal audit supervisor at the bank since 1997. In addition, he has been an instructor at the Lebanese University since 2005. Mr. Antoun holds several degrees in accounting and management. Mr. Omar Bdeir is the CEO of PinPay since 2014. He was hired to lead the transformation of this company from a simple mobile app to a national bill aggregation, presentment, and payment infrastructure. He has accumulated more than 25 years of experience in the payment industry in Lebanon, Germany, and Saudi Arabia. Last but not least, Mr. Arz El Murr. He is a serial entrepreneur, chairman of Al Barid Group of companies that delivers solutions for mobile communications to banks since early 2000. In 2008, Al Barid started the R&D for the mobile payment solution that ultimately became HeyPay in 2013. Welcome, all of you distinguished panelists. I would like to start the interactive presentation by a question to Madame Randa. I would like to have your opinion about the landscape of today's online payment. A brief overview.
Thank you for introducing us in this detailed manner. Online payment is divided into 2 categories. It's the e-commerce and the e-government, where the e-commerce is the commerce between the private sector and the government. E-government is where the payment is done for government institution. Under the e-commerce, we have 3 things. We have the shopping online, when you go around and you shop your clothes or your electronics and everything. And at the same time, you have the paying the bills, for example, Barid bill or, a telephone bill or electricity. This electricity, it comes under the e-government. So bills like membership in a club or something. And then there is paying services like if you want to buy some music and all these things. For e-government, any kind of activity that is done between the government and the citizen or the government and the institution is a kind of e-government where the citizen or the institution can pay their taxes or pay their any government service through online. If I want to speak in general about the e-commerce in the globally, it's a growing activity, especially in the United States and in Europe. And for example, in the United States, the figures reach to $300 billion a year, and it's always growing at a pace of 15%. Also in Europe, the figure is also 3-digit figures. Because globally, I mean, in the United States, in Australia, in all those countries, people are no more using physical stores. Most of the time, everything they want, they can buy it online.
What about in the region? The figure of $300 billion of online payment is a huge number. What about the region, the Arab region?
In the MENA region, the situation is not bad, but of course it's in infancy age still. But it's growing at a pace of 30%.
30%. Do you have some figures? Do we know how many millions, billions?
For MENA region, I don't have figures, but I have for Lebanon.
Yes, okay. We will come to Lebanon. But let me ask Mr. Antoun about your perspective, your overview of this market.
Yeah. As Madame Bdeir briefed about the e-com, regarding e-com and e-government, I need just to brief what are the dynamics that is driving this business more and more, not just in USA and Australia, but also we have remarkable growth figures in the Middle East as well as in GCC. We have several drivers. One of these drivers is we have number of devices, connected devices. Today it's 25 billion versus a population of 7.3 million. So we are speaking about, 7 million. No, 7 point, sorry. So we are speaking about 25 billion devices versus 7.3 billion population. So we are speaking about each person holds a connected devices, more than 3 devices in his hand. And in 2020, it's expected to have 50 billion devices, connected devices. That means each person of us will be holding on average 6 devices, not just the smartphone, not just the laptop. We are speaking about fridge, washing machines, bracelets, all this. So we have a connected world that is coming, and we are experiencing that. On the other hand, we have the customer adaptation rate. Customer adaptation of new innovations is becoming faster and faster. If we look to the adaptation of the TV, it took about 25 years. However, it took less than 10 years to adopt, to have all the people holding smartphones. They have Google, they have Facebook, Twitter. So this consumer adaptation rate is one of the drivers that also will lead to the growth of this payment online or mobile payment online.
Very good. You have, you entered the subject from the perspective of the consumer.
Yes.
What about the enterprise?
Yes. From the side of the enterprise now we are experiencing a low growth in economy. Major economies are facing low growth. China, the others, we are hearing this. And for the near 5 years, we are expecting a moderate growth. So these big giant retailers or wholesalers, in order to invest in billions plans to expand in terms of physical presence, somehow is under question. So we are speaking, all of them are going and they are planning to go like Amazon, go for AliExpress. This will minimize their investment. They will minimize their shelf stocking in their warehouses. Also, the capital financing for the working capital for the stock will be minimized, as well as the cost of the transaction will be minimized at the same time.
Okay, 25 billion devices connected in the whole world. I would like to ask Mr. Bdeir about your opinion or your view of the landscape of the mobile payments worldwide.
Well, thank you for the introduction. The mobile device will play a very significant role in the payment cycle. You have technologies like Apple Pay, Google Play, Google Pay, and so on, which will enable the device to complement the payment method. So cards will evolve into a virtual cards connected to your mobile, and this is basically the future. We have, in Lebanon, we have several enterprises with this from Banque Audi who have launched this service to its client. Meanwhile, we are using the mobile to enable payment for, enable processing of transaction for remote payment. And this also will play a significant role worldwide. So at PinPay, we are enabling the user to pay his bills remotely. So we present his bills, whether they are government bills or commercial bills, on his mobile device. And the user is able to pay his bills via a credit card, via a debit card, via his bank account on his device without going anywhere. So mobility will drive the market.
Thank you for your perspective. I would like to ask Mr. Murr, do you have some figures about the penetration of mobile payment in worldwide in the region?
Yes. Before talking about figures, let's start by defining the mobile payment.
Yeah.
When we talk about mobile payment, it's any payment done using a mobile device. So basically, there is two separate and clearly separate approaches for the mobile payment. You have the banked and the unbanked. When we're talking about the banked users, as Mr. Bdeir just said, and as my colleagues just said before that, the banked users, eventually, there are some technologies that are coming as an add-on on the existing payment system, which Apple Pay is one of them, Tap to Pay at Banque Audi is one of them. It's a layer that is being added to the card. So in the case of Banque Audi Tap to Pay, you insert your card inside the
mobile,
and you use it instead of your card. But anything that goes beyond the mobile, the circuit is the same. So the transaction, the authorization, etc., the circuit is the same.
Whereas what about people who don't have a bank account?
And the unbanked world, the concept of having a mobile payment is to solve the issue of not having a bank account and therefore not having a credit card. So basically, these are completely two completely separate words currently. Now, in the banked world and in the developed countries and in the advanced countries, we're talking about initiatives that are still, it is still a very fragmented market. We're talking about initiatives like Apple Pay, like Google Wallet, like PayPal, etc. All of them are trying to enter into the mobile payment world because it is obvious and clear that this is the future. I mean, the future for payment is the mobile payment. Now, which will be the standard? Obviously, none of them. Clearly, I mean, what is happening today is a very fragmented market. We're going to see some kind of probably joining of initiatives, or maybe someone that's gonna win the market. But obviously, clearly today, none of them is a clear winner.
Do we have an idea about the proportion of bankerized and non-bankerized mobile payment services?
Of what?
Bankerized and non-bankerized.
I mean, proportion, no. In Lebanon, you're talking
no, worldwide. I know,
about
for example, that in Africa...
50%, if you take the global world population, we're talking about 50% of the users that are bankerized.
Okay.
But this is worldwide. If you take in developed countries like Europe and the US, it definitely is a much higher proportion. If you're talking to underdeveloped countries like Africa or Southeast Asia, etc.,
it's the other way around. We can talk about the experience of Kenya.
Exactly,
maybe.
This is where I was coming. Now, one of the very success stories of the mobile payment is the Kenyan M-Pesa. This is a real success story. It started because it really gave a... before, if I can go back 1 second to just finish the idea of the banked countries. The problem with these initiatives are that they're not offering a real solution for an existing problem. I mean, currently, all of us who do have credit card do not face a real issue, a real problem in our payment. We're paying using our credit card without the hassle of asking the merchant if they accept or not the credit card. This is done by default. So it's a change in behavior, and changes in behavior usually take a long process, a long time to happen. It's a very long process, and we have to have a reason to actually change, which is not yet the case. So it is coming, but it's not yet the case. Now, talking about the unbanked world or the underdeveloped world, the real success story is the M-Pesa story. Now, it became a real success story because it was addressing a market that was unbanked, that didn't have means to do payments, especially in remote areas, etc. So they started by offering a solution for people that were working in towns, in large towns, to be able to pay to their relatives in remote areas. And this is how it boomed. It goes without saying that for it to boom, it came with the proper conditions set by the Central Bank of Kenya and the proper investment done by the operators over there. Now, M-Pesa is an initiative by operator. It's an operator-driven mobile payment. It's not a bank-driven mobile payment initially. I mean, this is how it started.
This is debatable. Now it has been bought by Vodafone and IBM, and they are creating a bank behind it, so it's very complex. Anyway, I would like...
This is how it started.
Yeah. I would like to jump to the local market, to talk a little bit about Lebanon. So what about the state of mobile payment in Lebanon, Mr. Murr and Mr. Bdeir?
Mobile payment in Lebanon is still in its infancy. We know that from experience. We have started since 2008. And today we have penetration less than 5% of the banked market. So there is a long way to go. There are a lot of challenges.
كتير 5%. It's okay.
But it can be better.
Yeah.
There are a lot of challenges. Basically, the challenges come from the user itself, the level of education, the level of trust in the device. Do I trust a device to pay my bill on a device or not? There's the level of education, the ability to use the device, dispensable income, and so on and so on. So we're in the beginning of this phase. In terms of using the device as a mode of payment, directly tap to pay, I think this will be a very successful product because it enhances the experience for the user. But still, I think it will face the same problem that we are facing at PinPay.
What do you think about that, Mr. Murr?
Again, as I said, you're in the midst of a change of behavior. So we have to offer any mobile payment application or system or concept has to offer a solution to the user that is solving an issue, an existing issue, which until this very minute, I mean, yes, definitely it is much easier to use the mobile than to use other devices. It's more secure, but these are not issues as far as the consumer is concerned. I mean, security is not an issue that we think about when we use our credit card. Convenience, the card is quite convenient. So we have to address some certain issues that cannot be solved using a credit card, such as the peer-to-peer payment, such as the remote payment like they're doing.
We are going to talk about this when we talk about each and every product of yours.
No, I'm not talking about my product. I'm talking
I'm not. I'm not saying that you are talking about your product.
Now in Lebanon, the situation in Lebanon, I know for a fact that the bank that is using our application had a good penetration, adoption rate. I mean, we're talking about 20% of their customers, which is a good rate, noting that the marketing behind it did not follow. So eventually, I strongly believe that the market is almost ready for mobile payment. Now, this is a whole thing. When they boost the online payment, the availability of websites and e-commerce, etc., will grow, and when these will grow, the usage of devices and mobile and PC payment will definitely follow.
Madam Bdeir, what about the usual online payment market in Lebanon? What can you tell us about it?
Before I speak about those, I want to add to the comments of my colleague. Any kind of innovation or technology or anything that enter into the market, of course, you need in order to the people in order to adapt it. And the mobile payment or bracelet payment or wearable payment is something very new. But of course, this is the future that is coming. Because with time, the people or the customer will see the need. Until now, not let's say in Lebanon or in the area, in the MENA region, they did not see exactly the need. Why should I pay with my mobile? Why should I pay with my wearable? It's okay, I can pay with card, and it's okay, like Mr. Arz, he said, that you can pay with the card. But this is the thing, it's not the same as in United States or in Europe or all these things. Because people in United States or Europe, they are so busy. They are the time is very, very important for them. Let's take about that transportation, for example, the transit system. The transit system now in London is taking the contactless payment, and it's booming. Every day there is 1.5 million tap to pay on the terminal of the contactless payment. This is something huge. Last year maybe it was 100,000. This year it's 1.5 million per day. Because people who are going through the transit, through the transportation, they have the bracelet with their credit card. They just make talk and they tap and go, because they are very quick. They need speed. They don't have time.
And
so
it's
that's
very convenient. Actually, it's very convenient.
And very convenient, and especially you don't need a change. The most important thing, for example, you want to pay $50 or $0.25 or something, just by tapping this and go, you are done. This need, we did not find it yet in Lebanon. Why? Because we're trying at Banque Audi, we're trying to raise this need or to push for it. But until now, not yet. Why? Because the people, they don't feel that they need the speed, because everything, كل واحد مرتاح على وضعه.
ما في إلا جيمس بوند بيدفع.
Maybe because we don't have long transportation.
Yes, I push to put James Bond, best to raise this James Bond thing in the بالشباب, يعني to feel that when they tap with their watch, to feel themselves as James Bond. Maybe they will, because if I tell the shabab, no, this is you're quick, they will say, why we need quick? We don't need quick. Why? Everything they're doing is calmly and quietly. So I said maybe the image of James Bond will push them forward. So what I'm trying to say is that the future is for mobile payment and for wearable, and it's coming. It needs time. Like when we introduced the credit card business in 1993 in Lebanon, it took us about 5-6 years. We're pushing and we are asking the people to carry a credit card or for a merchant to put a POS, and they said no. So it took us, and now everybody is using a credit card. So it will come, but it's not only in Lebanon, it's in USA and in Europe. Everybody is pushing and is trying to change the consumer behavior to accept this kind of technology. Hala, you asked
I have just a small question for you as a banker, actually. Is a payment transaction over or using a mobile device or a wearable device cheaper for you as a bank to process than a credit card transaction or a normal transaction?
No, it's not. It's not cheaper at all. It's the same. It's exactly as any transaction on a credit card, but we made it cheaper for the merchant.
Yeah,
That's why when you go to any merchant, when we place for him the contactless terminal, we are taking half of the price for him, just to push people to use.
Okay.
So we are making this cheaper for the market, but we are paying because we have the responsibility to educate the market and to push for it.
Yeah.
But the thing which is very important, I want to add it, what I'm trying to do now is not to push the people to take away from the credit card business, to take away from cash. So those tap to pay transaction, they are coming not from, instead of using your card, you are using your bracelet. I want, instead of using the $5, instead of using the 5,000 Lebanese pound, just to pay with your watch. This is what we want to do. So we are taking a part of the cash and not part of the...
Okay, all right. Very, very interesting perspective.
As for, you asked me about the online in Lebanon. Online in Lebanon is still very, very small. Although there is internet penetration, I think in Lebanon, we 56% of the public is they have internet.
Much more
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
3.5 million people are using internet.
Okay, so the penetration is getting more and more, but only 9% of those people, they use mobile commerce, m-commerce. I mean, to buy through the mobile. So not yet they are used to buy things through the mobile, but it will come with time. And we have some figures about the e-commerce. E-commerce in Lebanon, I mean, to buy online, last year it was around 420 million. But before last year, which is 2014, it was 250 million. So there is a... $250 million.
بس هولي
payment online.
They are not buying from the local market.
No, 1 minute, not payment online. It's people using their car to buy online from Beirut or from
anywhere.
Anywhere.
Okay.
So the usage of the internet, I mean usage of paying online, has increased by 67% from last year until now. So people are used to now buy online from Lebanon or from Kuwait or from
China
or from Alibaba, anywhere. So as for Lebanon, inside Lebanon, I mean as a merchant, only in 2014 it was $36 million, and this year 2015 it's about $50 million. So there is an increase of 38%. So there is an increase, is good, but not so much. It means not so much do we have merchant selling online.
Okay. Mr. Antoun, we have heard some interesting figures, although they are a little bit small, of course, compared to the worldwide figures. What is your perspective about what is happening in terms of online payment in the local market?
Regarding the local market, as Madame Bdeir mentioned about the figures, yes, it's the e-com on Lebanese merchants acquiring, it represents about 12%. So it is somehow it is a very low figure compared to countries in the region here, in the GCC, such as in UAE. We are speaking about people are transacting in UAE representing on local on local merchants like souk.com or others, representing about 60%. So there is a big potential. As I've said in the beginning, we have this young generation here, which is leading this e-com. We have an average age here in Lebanon. We are one of the youngest nations. So this is driving the usage. We have a responsibility, banks, regulators, in order to push merchants to go online. Because, as Madame Bdeir mentioned, that it is 450 million. So these people that they are transacting online, most of them, they are buying Amazon, they are buying AliExpress or others. So they are taking all this hassle with regarding the mailing, all of this, it's a cost. So several merchants here, several retails can go and have this offer, this proposition to the market, such as souk.com in Dubai, in order to push these transactions from outside to contribute to our GDP rather than taking them outflows outside. So the potential is very big in e-com. I will say it's e-com and e-government. E-government, till now, it's a very, move. There is a big, job that should be done. I've seen that the central bank this year initiated one of the circulars, which is 313, that will push innovations and will push, 331. So that will be pushing innovations, digital companies, and by this push, I think this market, we will have several big merchants that will be offering goods and services, and this number will be increasing inbound rather than having that e-commerce which is outbound. Second, I need just to add, it's not just the need that we have mobile payment. It is the seamless experience. If we go for the example of Uber, an example, I was not using taxi for the last 3 years. Once I joined an account at Uber, I use it often. So I don't think just the need, it is also the seamless experience that the mobile app will provide. So this is what we are searching, to have mobile apps that are seamless. For the others that is mentioned regarding PinPay and what Mr. Murr mentioned, yes, these mobile applications will gain ground, but I want also to raise that there are also big players that they will come also here, like Apple Pay, like Samsung Pay. So the market will be matured, and these big players will be driving these small players or local players to enhance this applications or this proposition to have it more traffic towards it.
I feel from your way of presenting things that the problem in the low rate of e-commerce in the local market is actually a demand, a supply issue. It's ما بعرف ليش حسيت منك من مدام بدير انه it's a supply issue. We don't have enough merchants offering services and products. Is this the case? Is this the problem?
Yes.
Is it supply or demand?
It's not that demand is there. I'll tell you, the demand is there. E-commerce transactions are going on increase 20% year on year. We have the supply chain, it's there. We have like Aramex, they have this supply chain. Lebanon Post is going also towards this supply chain. I think the big retailers, it was not yet matured for them to go into this retail offering. However, we are experiencing since this year that several retailers, big retailers, will have their move. They will have, there are in the home appliances.
Okay.
They are one of our clients told me that it will be my showroom number 7. So he has 6 showrooms, and his e-com will be number 7. Yes.
هيدي دعاية الكريدي لبنان هاي. كريدي لبنان لما فتح الأونلاين سيرفيس تبعه وكان عم بقول it's our branch number whatever.
Yes.
X. إيه. بس إنه practically أنا I don't see that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. So it is definitely a supply issue لأنه عم نشوف الأرقام 450 مليون بيشتروا بس 35 مليون locally
50 مليون
50 مليون this year
و 420
around 12%.
طيب أنا عندي سؤال about يعني a bad experience with the local markets مع PayPal. ليش في حدا في يقول لي ليش ما مشي حاله PayPal؟
أنا بعرف.
أنت بتعرف. Can you say it? Can you say why?
No, I've met the Middle East manager for PayPal, and they said it was
not time.
in the loop, بس ما كان عندهم budget بس.
ما عنده budget ولا the market is too small for them.
It was too small يعني. Eventually we're not smaller than Jordan. We didn't.
Much smaller than Jordan.
We're not smaller than Jordan as a global market, but Jordan used to be a tech hub, which is not the case in Lebanon. So they started with Jordan, and Lebanon was coming, and then they retreated from the whole MENA region. يعني اليوم صغيرين كثير PayPal.
They told me that they came in at Arab, and they actually made a very large foundation.
Yes.
For them, and they actually announced that they actually are going to start their services in about 3 months.
Yes.
We heard 6 months later that they actually withdrew. Now, what I understood is that there was compliance issues with the central bank. What exactly allowed? Something like the man is.
No, ما كان في.
Guys.
No, ما كان فيها المشكلة. No, ما كان فيها المشكلة أبدا.
The central bank and the problem with that, I have not to go into this right now, but there are legislative issues with regards to mobile payments that need to be overlooked.
No, ma'am. With PayPal, it wasn't that issue at all. It was a budgeting issue for them. That's it. Their CEO,
guys,
the CEO left. The CEO MENA region, Elias Ghanem, يعني, left them a few months later, and they shrank their size, their presence in the Middle East. That's it. It was purely a budget issue. هلا نحن اللبنانيين بنحب نعمل.
لا, let me add one thing. Maybe you are right, because usually the central bank, he is not in favor of electronic money. And if this electronic money does not fit into the network, into the whole loop, the ecosystem. And for example, they do accept credit card, which is Visa, MasterCard, because they are, according to rules and regulation, they are compliant and they have their own regulation. While PayPal, maybe they feel that it's an electronic money like Bitcoin. You don't know from where it's coming. You don't know where it's going. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's an issue. Maybe we don't know.
I had a question about compliance. Just a second. Let me just streamline the discussion in the same sense. I had a question about barriers to entry to the local market. Okay, so maybe it's time to ask this question. What are the barriers to entry? Do we have issues like compliance, security, and social behavior? بنرجع بعدين بنحكي على social impact of online payments and mobile payments. بس خلينا نحكي هلا على barriers to entry لأنه فتحنا سيرة PayPal. Okay, so we have an opinion about compliance and some differences with the central bank, but we have also another opinion about the size of the market and the budget and financial issues. Okay, so who wants to comment on the barriers to entry in the Lebanese market to any online payment or mobile payment solution?
Let me comment.
Go ahead, please.
The first thing as a barrier to entry for the e-payment, online payment, is the internet and the infrastructure. So the internet is not it's not easy to attain. It's costly and it's very slow, and not everybody has internet in his house. And so this is the first thing that you face it whenever you want to make online purchasing.
أنا مش هوافق معك على الموضوع. أنا عندي مشكل كبير كتير مع الإنترنت بلبنان. Big time. I'm a big activist and fighter against what is happening in terms of internet. وينه نبيل أبو خالد? But يعني 3.5 million people have internet access. And almost everybody has a mobile phone and a smartphone. So يعني internet access is not the issue. It's not the issue.
But it's very slow, and whenever you want to shop online, you need time in order to, for example, compare prices and to see the merchandise.
Okay.
Don't tell me you need a lot of time in order to move from one place to another. So the lack of the infrastructure is the one of the biggest barriers to entry. I can feel it.
What about security?
And something else, lack of trust. The people still, they are not used to the idea of giving their credit card on the system, and they feel that somebody is going to hack their credit card. Although we as banks, we keep on educating the market and telling them that don't worry, there is especially when the site is secured. For example, our payment gateway has a certain level of security verified by Visa and secured code. So it means as a merchant, if you use your website to be connected to our payment gateway, you are totally secured. You can never be hacked because you have those security features.
Yeah.
And this is from the acquiring side. From the side of the merchant, of the customer, we have something called secured code, where you register yourself online, and then you have your own credential, and then you use your credential in order to buy online. And even more, we are going to launch very soon, or already it's launched, the tokenization feature, which is whenever the owner, the card holder, he doesn't enter his full card number or her data. All his data is kept with the bank, and the bank just take this data, convert it into a token, and throw it to the merchant as a token. For recurrent payment and all these things. So all this, there is no problem, but still the people, they have lack of confidence, and most of all, they have no need. Why should I shop online? Why don't I go to the boutique and try the dress and see which dress is nicer and buy it? Unless it's cheaper. Unless it's cheaper, it's not. This is it. The thing is, no value added are being marketed online, because the prices, this I face it with a merchant. I keep on telling them, please put your things cheaper in order to push people to come buy from you. Why should they buy if you have, for example, the TV on the site, it's $1,000, and when they go to Khoury, it's $850. Why they should shop it online and wait for Aramex to bring it and all these things?
Do we have just very quickly a comment on the barriers to entry? Very quickly. I would like to open the floor for questions.
Yes, sure. Since from PinPay side, we deal with the consumer and with the merchant at the same time. And what we have seen from the merchant side is the lack of capability to integrate and to sell online. And that's the major challenge for us at PinPay, to enable merchants on our systems. And this, we're dealing with insurance companies, with the government, with big insurance companies. They're not able to integrate with our systems because their infrastructure is not ready.
And they're not investing.
And they're not investing. That's true.
They're not investing
Because they don't
the
feel the
economy
need.
is low.
Because they don't feel the need.
Yeah, I don't want to judge, but this is the biggest challenge. And the consumer doesn't find much to buy online. So he might find here and there, but he cannot complete all his journey online, buy everything online. So it doesn't bring the value to the consumer as much as if you are buying from the US or buying from AliExpress and so on, where you find everything.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bdeir. Arz, please.
For the mobile payment, it's a completely different story. The major barrier to entry are, the stakeholders are the banks and the merchants and the user, etc. There are many stakeholders. Someone needs to invest, to believe in the thing and invest. And the other barrier to entry is a regulatory issue. Mrs. Bdeir just said Banque doesn't really like the technology. So they're putting lots of barriers for all technological innovations.
Mr. Antoun, what do you think?
I don't believe this is true. From the central bank.
هلا بنعمل discussion بالآخر على موضوع central bank.
Central bank, he doesn't like electronic money.
Sure,
without
that's true.
laws.
That's true, but they're not prohibiting technology.
I didn't say they're prohibiting. They're putting many constraints.
Regarding what our colleagues discussed now, regarding the central bank, we are working closely with them since 4 or 5 years on several new projects. And yes, they are conservative. However, they are giving the space for all technology initiatives. I understand them. We have one of the most differentiating sector in the region. I understand they're conservative. However, I've experiencing with them since more than 5 years several technology payments innovations. They are going through with us, and they have all the patience to introduce these payments. And I've seen several officials there, and they are telling me we need to move traffic from cash to online payments towards digital transactions. However, yes, they have a concern regarding the mobile wallet, not the mobile application or the mobile transactions. They need all these financial transactions to pass through the central bank system, which I understand, and we should understand that. This is one. Regarding the internet, I again say, internet subscriber, we are one of the highest internet subscribers in the region, almost reaching the numbers of Dubai. UAE, it's 83%. We are about 73%. Yes, maybe it's slow, but we have the connection. It's there. On the other hand, the merchants, they are willing to go there. And as Mr. Bdeir said, they will not invest, small merchants will not invest. Why not to introduce aggregators? And I think in order to solve this, we need to introduce these aggregators that will get these small merchants in, and this aggregator will integrate with the bank or the third party and all of them.
You cannot do this because you will face compliance issue. Because now all the compliance rules say no aggregators, because every client should be your client and not the client of somebody else. Yes. So this we have it. I have many aggregators. We stopped it and we move into taking, you're speaking about things that I've been living with it for the past 3-4 years for the e-commerce business. And I made I launched something e-mall, where it has all the merchant, where it is a e-commerce platform. And all these things that you're speaking about, I faced it. For internet, for the customer to convince him, for the merchant to convince him, for this compliance issue. So there is a problem. But we're trying.
Excuse me, but the regulation, just to be very quick on this, this is a regulation from whom? Central Bank or Ministry of Economy and Trade or Ninja regulation? No, the customer.
Compliance, KYC, America, our correspondent. You are not allowed to work as a bank with any client, which is the client of somebody else. You have to know the client yourself. So that's why we used to work with Aggregator. They stopped us. It's compliance coming from the United States. It's not the central bank, nothing.
Okay.
Mrs. Bdeir, how much does it cost to go online?
I'm speaking about KYC. It's not regulation. No. You misunderstand me. He said that we should encourage aggregators. I said aggregators, in the terms, in their definition, it's forbidden. Because the aggregator, he owns the client, he has the merchant, and he deals with you. We had many people like this. They stopped us because they said, you should own the client, you should deal with him, and you should sign with the merchant. So we went back and we signed with every merchant, and the aggregator is no more but a sales agent now. He's no more the aggregator in the name, in the definition of aggregator that is done in the United States on everything. This is what I'm telling you.
All right. I just 1 second. Let me tell you how it's going to go from now. I will give you 30 seconds each. Arz and Mr. Antoun to just, and then I will open the floor for questions for 5 minutes because we don't have much more time, okay?
And I will go into the first question over there. The advantage of the aggregator is because it costs a lot of money to be connected online, right? How much does it cost? To have a payment gateway, I mean, to be able to...
No cost, we are taking nothing. We are offering everything free.
Okay, that's
it costs. It costs.
Then the aggregator is no reason. I mean, there's no reason.
Madam, there we're not speaking about just your service. We are speaking about that this merchant, he need to create a website. He need to build a chain supply after the website. The least concern that he has is to integrate and connect with your payment gateway or Banque of Beirut payment gateway. So these aggregators that yes, you can sign. Now the practice is the bank sign with aggregator as well. He will sign with the customer. And this model, yes, it's being discussed here. And I don't know if it was in the past prohibited. We did not start with it. However, this solution or this path is having a growth in all the region, as well in the US, as well in all the continents. So in order to have these small players, yes, they should be reflected on the books of the bank. They should know him. However, the technical flow and the workflow, the aggregator will handle rather than this customer.
بس ما في فارس ما في شيء يعني Mrs. Bdeir just said that it's free and the technicality of it it's a one day work
أرز اليوم
انه هي عم we're trying to find
guys if you are discussing between يعني each other they will not be able to follow. Okay, so please
just
don't.
But your idea, what you're saying about Faris, we have it in email. We are collecting merchants, giving them the website, giving them the payment gateway, giving them everything. But there is not big volume. It's not catching up because people are not. There is no need. The consumer doesn't feel the need to buy online. Doesn't feel it.
Madam Bdeir, yes, I agree with you. There is no traffic till now. However, we email this debate. We need that this merchant, they cannot go alone. This investment, not just in the platform, they need a digital digital campaigns. Some of these merchants, they spend more than $50,000 each month in order to build this traffic and this awareness. In order to have these merchants having this traffic, it's not just having the website, it's not having a real-time response from their team, it's not just to have the supply chain. They need to invest each month in a digital campaign to build this awareness, to build all this seamless experience in order to do this. Yes, it's challenging because if a merchant wants to start now in Lebanon and do all this, it's a question because it's not there. This is why there should be initiatives in order to support these promising businesses that we are opting to have them in our market. So this is why, Madam Bdeir, I'm asking, and it's not just aggregators, I'm speaking about these merchants need more investment rather than just the website and integration with an e-commerce gateway and offering low pricing other than the presence or the physical presence that they have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I open the floor for questions. We have 5 minutes of Q&A. So please, the question is only 30 seconds. Wael, you want to start?
I'm saying there are 3 things I understood from this panel. One, the first thing you're saying that there is a supply issue, and that there are not enough merchants. But there's also one more thing, is that there's a thing that banks have to be involved in. The number of unbanked customers in Lebanon is huge.
No, it's not huge. It's not huge.
Not huge.
It's 30%. 30%,
Yes,
not more.
It's a good number.
It's the one, even those that are banked have an income level which is somewhat low. Of those people which are unbanked, definitely have no payment cards. And of the ones that are banked, some have no card penetration. This is for one. Second of all, in every digital economy, it goes through stages. I don't know which stage we are at this point in time, but we are still at the product information stage. Most of them. You go into all these sites and you actually use it as a mobile or a digital catalog. If I go into a Khoury home website, for example, and I check out all the stuff, all the goods that are available, for me, it is cheaper to actually go to the Khoury home itself and buy it there after seeing it. Once what the panel was saying, is very important for it to be for the customer to be incentivized to use digital medium. This is for one. Second of all, and this is for PinPay, and I'm a very big proponent of PinPay. PinPay has done a lot of work, and it's been really successful, at least for its early stages. But there's not enough awareness on how to actually use PinPay, and I actually go around and ask people how to use it. Not many are very aware of it. So maybe if you make it more available, or actually the awareness more available to people, maybe the penetration would increase.
Okay, an answer from PinPay, please, in 30 seconds.
Yeah, we should ask our shareholders to pay the money for ads. Really, PinPay is 2 sections. Maybe you see the mobile app, but PinPay supplies its infrastructure to banks also, and to agents like Cash United and so on. So what you see of PinPay is just a tiny bit of what it is, which is the mobile app.
Okay.
Just a question for what he raised regarding the unbanked or the financial inclusion. So we are speaking about the financial inclusion. Yes, well, you're right. And Bank of Beirut, we did a move there. We issued a prepaid virtual card, and we are marketing on a mass, and it's experiencing a great success. Yes, the demand is there. So in order to enable these clients that are unbanked, banks now are offering these prepaid cards. And these prepaid cards, there are the virtual cards as well as there are the full experience, the POS and all of that. So to have these virtual prepaid cards, yes, they will enable this unbanked client, and surely will drive traffic there on that.
Okay. Diana, please.
Hello. Diana Bouganem. I'm an engineer بوزارة الاتصالات. I'd like to point out something. The note of Madame Bdeir is very true about the internet. نحن صحيح we have a penetration rate very high in mobile internet. But when we talk about the e-commerce, ما فيك نحكي عن penetration rate of mobile internet. We talk about the internet, the fixed internet. We talk about the internet when you go to the rural areas. ولما نحكي عن الاي-كوميرس لما انوجدت لتخدم الرورال ارياز، ما انوجدت لتخدم الاربن ارياز والسيتيز. محل ما انا بنزل على الماركت بالحمرة تاشتري الفستان او تاشتري الالكترونكس، ما راح اروح اطلبها اونلاين. الاي-كوميرس انوجدت as a development tool للمزارعين اللي عم يشتغلوا باخر البلاد. ما انوجدت الاي-كوميرس لتخدم هول الماركتس اللي كتير كبار only. So نحن وقت تكون الانترنت عنا ما عم تخدم الرورال ارياز والاندر ديفلوبد ارياز البعيده، شيء طبيعي ما تكون في تيك اب قد هيك كتير كبيره، وما يكون في محلات عم تقدر تقلع فيها الاي-كوميرس، لانه الانترنت unfortunately مش واصله بشكل مزبوط على الرورال ارياز الا بالموبايل. الموبايل اذا هالفقير اللي قاعد باخر الضيعه ما عنده فيكس انترنت اكيد ما رح يقدر يوصل وما رح نقدر نعمل development مزبوطه. This is my first note. Secondly, the mobile payment. نحن اشتغلنا وجربنا نحكي مع السنترال بانك كرمال قصة الاي والت وكل هالقصص. It needs regulations، بدها licensing، في كتير اشياء، بالاضافة الى انه نحن الماركت عنا 30%، انه this is very low for people who are unbanked in comparison للبلدان اللي كتير عندها نسبة فقر عالي، so بيكونوا كتير جايين عليها انه لا نحن بدنا ناخد هالشريحة الكبيرة. So this is another issue. بس في عنا issue security. إذا بتيجي تشوف الأندرويد قديش هو breachable، إذا بتيجي بتشوف قديش أنا قادر أوثق بالأندرويد operating system الاي او اس operating system تقدر أعمل payment through this. I don't know if you have any answer for that.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a brief answer? Okay, we have many more questions, so a brief answer, please.
أنت طولت أكثر مني.
Yeah, I have to.
For security, you can be sure that mobile payment is more secured in all aspects of it. Paying using a mobile is definitely more secure than paying using a credit card. Definitely. No question about it in terms of penetration, in terms of hacking of the system, in terms of... and I'm not talking about our payment system only, I'm talking about payment system in general. It goes without saying that losing your card is much more likely than using your mobile phone. If the application is secure enough, then you're safe.
Let me answer. In our case, for a mobile wallet, I don't know, maybe this is true that it can be hacked, but in the when you make a mobile payment with a SIM, your credit card is on the mobile SIM. This is an EMV chip where it cannot be hacked, and it doesn't at all is connected to the mobile SIM or it's not on the operating system, and it's nothing. So for the mobile payment through our the international style of payment, I don't think there is a problem. In other, I don't know.
I need to add, it's not just for rural areas. The last, it was done a research this year, and they asked all the clients, what are the reasons that you shop online? The first reason was because we have good deals and low prices, and the second reason was it's simple and convenient. So I don't agree it's just for rural areas. We're looking for we are looking for good deals. We are looking for simple convenience. These are the drivers of e-com. Thank you.
Okay. بعدين معلش بدي جاوب ما بقدر ما جاوبك يعني. E-commerce is like commerce. It is made for those who can pay. لا rural areas ولا development of whatever communities. It's not for that. Okay. So I will take two more questions, please. One here and one there. Okay.
Yes. Hello, Abdullah Haddad. I will be talking about barrier to entries, if you don't mind. I'm an ex-banker, but I won't talk as a specialist. I will simply give my customer experience, and if it can help anybody here. I think one of the barriers is that when we go shopping online, we will try to find the best products anywhere in the world, and we will try to get it delivered here and easily. So one of the barriers is country acceptance. Lebanon is not always an accepted destination for delivery. So you can't get your products delivered in Lebanon. Before talking about payment, I'm talking about the acquisition, I mean the shopping experience. Then there is another barrier, it's about card acceptance. Lebanese cards are not always accepted on all electronic commerce sites. And this is something where the Lebanese banks need to see what they can do. Third, even if there is some technology problem, I mean, I have experience with Amazon where my card, the way that Amazon and the bank communicate doesn't transmit the CVV, let's say. And then I get my card rejected. So there is a lot of things need in terms of interbanking or banking merchant relationship to make the Lebanese cards accepted everywhere and easily. The second point, I won't be long. I will get back to the fact that internet is slow in Lebanon. If someone has to do some heavy transaction on the internet, like let's say paying my let's say taxes online in France from Lebanon, and having to spend something like 10 minutes for this is enough time to get my transaction timed out when I get to the payment. And this is where I agree with Mrs. Bdeir. You need to have a quick internet, a speed access, in order that your transaction cannot be deleted. This is the same thing for some flight reservation. You need to go through 4, 5, sometimes 6 pages, and then when you get to the payment, you get timed out again. So here where we need a quick internet connection. Sometimes the time itself is very important, because if I have an offer and this offer will end in 5 seconds or in 10 minutes or in half an hour, I need my payment to be done in order to get my $200 ticket for Dubai and not to pay for it $400 if I go and make my transaction 3 hours later. I would say also about small payment. Small payment in Lebanon is a very hard issue, because small payment is encouraged by public authorities. When you have public transport operators, commodity operators that are well organized, technology advanced, and are used widely without a lot of competition, then they will invest on having payment terminals. It is not the situation here. I am going to take a bus at the same time, a taxi and a service, and whatever you can call it. And I am sure that from now to 10 years, we will not see hundreds or 100,000 mobile payment, or let's say proximity payment, contactless. This is the name, contactless payment in Lebanon. This is a dream.
Okay,
so
Mr.
this is
Haddad, thank you very much.
No, I have more. I have some points that.
You have 5 seconds. I will start counting.
Yeah.
One.
In 5 seconds, marketing policies in the bank are a barrier, because whenever I need a card that will fit to my mobile phone, they want to make me make me buy another card. And I thought that it is only a technology issue.
This is too far. خلاص, it's okay.
لا too far why يعني we shouldn't talk about marketing policies.
I mean it's
no,
too
I
much.
thought I have 5 minutes, but it's okay.
No, you have 5 seconds.
No, if it's not interesting, I will stop. No, there is no problem.
It is interesting, بس نحن قفينا الوقت 20 دقيقة.
طيب.
Okay, and I still have one question, please.
Fraud.
So thank you very much for your intervention. This was extremely fruitful and interesting, but I still have one question, please. I will not take answers. Please.
One of the barriers to e-commerce is that maybe the internet is slow, but we can buy online with Amazon. I think the infrastructure of the payment gateways in Lebanon is a little bit inadequate. Also, I want to stress that, yes, the central bank does have reservations about online, some sort of online payments. Even us as banks cannot make, our clients cannot make through mobile banking payments to third parties outside of the bank unless it goes through SWIFT. And this is by a central bank circular. So the central bank really does not want us to send money, for example, through PayPal. This is for sure, and it's a circular, and we're applying it. I think the bankers here will agree with me. I'm not sure.
All right. Thank you very much for your intervention. I will still take.
Except that PayPal goes through the credit card system, not through the banking system.
خلاص, we cannot. We have another panel. They are all waiting for us. Yeah. So excuse me. Thank you very much for your patience. I'm really sorry. I would have loved to take your questions. Thank you very much.